What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be talking about something that has been hitting hard for many families lately, and this is the banking collapse and housing foreclosures. There's no denying it, you guys. The latest data confirms that foreclosures are on the rise again. And it's no surprise because some cities have literally been going crazy with the foreclosing of homes for all sorts of different violations. And yeah, it is true. And if you've been wondering what's the cause of this upheaval and how it affects you as a stock market investor, or maybe you don't even have investments in the stock market, maybe you don't necessarily have a 401k or investment retirement account, a Roth IRA, you name it, you are going to want to know about what is going on here. And we're going to be talking about why the banks are collapsing, the new government intervention, and most importantly, the implications on bank stocks. So definitely listen up to see if your bank is one of them. We're also going to be talking about the comeback of the Homeowner Assistance Fund in some states. So if you're behind on your housing payments, you could definitely get up to $50,000 in assistance here. Do not miss out on this information. It could definitely help out a lot of people in a pinch. Plus, not a whole lot of people know about this particular program in some places, so it'll definitely be easier to get into the program with a lot less competition, if you know what I mean. Before I get into everything else, I just want to ask you guys, how you guys doing today? Now, there has been some terrible weather lately depending upon where you live, especially in Chicago and Illinois. And I found out that the Apollo Theater in Belvedere, Illinois collapsed and it killed at least one person and injured 40 others. Yeah. Real quick, check this out.
We've got to get some other breaking news here. This is breaking news in Belvedere. We told you about this a minute ago. A roof has collapsed at the Apollo Theater. There was a concert going on here in Boone County. The Boone County Sheriff telling us there are multiple injuries. This is video just into our newsroom. These are the first ground images we're seeing, and it appears you can see there that the marquee has collapsed. We've seen several people being taken away on stretchers, so this does not look like a good situation in Boone County, and we do have confirmation from the sheriff there that there are multiple injuries.
Yeah, we have been seeing ambulances arrive at the scene and first responders at the scene. This is 104 North State Street.
So how are you guys? How's the weather in your area? Just drop me a quick comment down below. But first, let's talk about this crazy weather, right? So while things were calming down in Chicago, Illinois was simply having the worst of it. So the Apollo Theater's roof just gave up during the storm, and there was pretty much chaos and destruction everywhere. More than 40 people got hurt, and unfortunately, this one guy by the name of Frederick Forrest Livingston Jr., he passed away. Now, the show was supposed to start at 7 p.m. with Morbid Angel, Revocation, and Skeletal Remains, but unfortunately, it all went downhill fairly quickly. People tried to help him out of the rubble, but the damage unfortunately was already done. First responders were very quick on the scene, and everybody who was inside of the theater was found. But still, 2 people have life-threatening injuries, and 2 others were seriously hurt. So I just want to say, please stay safe out there, you guys. And also, please keep the families and the friends of those who were affected in your thoughts. Now, this unfortunate incident shows you just how precious life is. Now, the scary part is that we just never know which day will be our last. For the loved ones left behind, experiencing the loss of a loved one is an indescribable pain. And as someone who very unexpectedly lost a parent in my teens, I received a wake-up call very early in life on the impact of a financial shortage, as at least 50% of our household income vanished pretty much instantly. Not only were we in an emotional, empty, and distraught state, but there was a significant immediate financial toll that was placed on my family. And on that day, I vowed that I would never leave my family in a weak financial state when my inevitable day comes. Now, thankfully, the sponsor of today's video, Ethos, makes buying life insurance fast, easy, and affordable. Each year you wait, life insurance rates can increase by 8 to 10%. Lock in a low rate now and protect what matters most to you. Today, as the breadwinner in my household, I want to make sure that my family will be okay if anything were to ever happen to me. I don't want to ever feel like my family would struggle if I were not here. And I'm sure that you guys can understand where I'm coming from. A mortgage is probably going to be the biggest debt you'll ever have. And I would not want them to be burdened with a mortgage or any kind of debt for that matter if anything unexpected happens. So if you already own a home, it might be a good idea to look into life insurance that'll cover your mortgage for as long as you need it. You want to protect who you love. Life insurance provides financial protection for your loved ones in the most vulnerable moments. Oh, and here's something else that most people don't know about life insurance. The payout can be used for anything. So for example, you could use it to plan a special family dinner. You could take that luxury vacation that you've been dreaming about, buy a new car, or even buy gifts for special occasions. Personally, I've always wanted to gift my child a house. That way, I would know that he never has to worry about one of the biggest expenses in our life. It's your money and the possibilities are endless. Historically, life insurance has been complicated, costly, and it took a long time to get. However, Ethos makes it easy and simple with a 100% online application process. You can get coverage in minutes instead of weeks because Ethos doesn't require medical exams or even blood tests. Instead, you only need to answer a few health questions online. So here are the 3 main reasons why Ethos is worth checking out. It's fast. I mean, you can get a quote within seconds, apply in minutes, and in most cases, get coverage on the same day. In fact, I applied and was offered coverage in just 30 minutes. And it's easy. The entire process is online and you don't need to take any medical exams. You only have to answer a few questions about your health. It's affordable, and compared to other quotes that I received, Ethos offered the lowest rate. You can even get coverage for the price of a dinner out. Ethos provides a seamless and stress-free way to get life insurance quickly, easily, and at an affordable price. Life insurance is one of those topics people don't always discuss. Death is a sensitive topic, but knowing your options and being prepared for the worst-case scenarios is smart. Most of us know that this is something that you know you need to do, but you've been putting off. It's time to take it off your to-do list. 10 minutes could protect your family for as little as $10 a month. If you're interested in learning more about Ethos or you're interested in getting your free life insurance quote, make sure to see the link down below this video. You can get your own personalized free quote today by clicking on the link down below. If it's not the weather that's causing me to lose sleep at night, it's what's happening with our banks. All right, so we got a bunch of banks that are totally collapsing, with the biggest one being Silicon Valley Bank. Now, the crazy thing is that they didn't go bankrupt because of fraud or scandal or anything. It was just plain old bad management and sheer stupidity. So here's what went down. Silicon Valley Bank had been buying up a lot of treasury bonds, which, as we all know, is not a great idea to be doing right now with the crazy high inflation that we've been dealing with. Now, the Federal Reserve has been fighting this inflation by raising interest rates, and as a result, bond prices have been dropping like crazy. And so this means that if you've got, let's just say, a 10-year bond and the interest rate goes up by just 1%, the price of that bond will fall by about 10%. Huge problem. Now, if Silicon Valley Bank had been just a little bit smarter about things, they could have hedged their bets and protected themselves against these rising interest rates. But they didn't do enough of that, and they ended up pretty much just screwing up big time on all of their risk assessment. As a result, they had to sell a bunch of their bonds for a huge loss just to make sure that they had enough cash on hand. This caused a bit of a panic among their customers, who were mostly startup tech companies that were not profitable yet, and they needed the cash. So Silicon Valley Bank had to sell even more of their bonds at an even bigger loss just to keep their customers happy. Long story short, the customers started freaking out and pulling all their money out the bank, which ultimately led to a classic bank run. So Silicon Valley Bank was in deep trouble, and they knew it. They were even forced to sell even more bonds for an even bigger loss just to stay afloat. But by then, it was just too late. They dropped the ball on risk management, and they paid the price for it. Now, here's where things got really interesting. About 85% of all of the money in Silicon Valley Bank was uninsured. This is just a crazy figure to think about. Now, this meant that if the bank went belly up, a lot of companies were going to lose a lot of money. And some of the biggest companies that were affected were Circle, Roku, and Roblox. They had billions of dollars invested in the bank. And if the bank went under and FDIC didn't come in to catch them, they would have all been screwed. And just think about all the employees that would have been screwed as well, who likely wouldn't have gotten paychecks because all the businesses went under. But not surprisingly, the government decided to intervene and bail out the banks. Why? Because they're one of the ones that made all the political donations, of course. I know it wasn't exactly fair since FDIC insurance is only up to $250,000, but hey, rules are made to be broken, right? Or at least they are for some of the banks and for the big businesses like Tesla and Amazon. I mean, am I right? Now, I read a comment last time that pretty much summed it up. When it comes to banks, all profits are privatized, but losses seem to be socialized. I mean, they get all the money while we get all the expenses. Doesn't seem to be quite of a fair trickle-down economy to me. But what do you guys think? Sadly, things could be getting even worse. Some economists have projected that both the US and parts of Europe could slip into a recession for part of 2023. A global recession defined as a contraction in annual global per capita income is more rare because China and emerging markets often grow faster than more developed economies. So if the whole global economy goes down, you can pretty much guarantee that the US and your average American are going to get wrecked financially. Some people have been preparing for a long time for this. Bailouts, then bankruptcy, then repos, and then foreclosures. The greatest transfer of wealth happens every 20 years or so. And sure enough, foreclosures are on the uptick again. Home foreclosures have ticked back up over the past 4 months according to data provided by Black Knight. They call it a return to the before times. Pandemic era housing assistance programs are winding down, and folks who have not been paying their mortgage are either working out new arrangements with lenders, selling their homes, or they're going into foreclosure. Some places are getting extra aggressive, even kicking people out for something as simple as letting their lawn grow too high. Yeah, I heard some cities in Florida have really begun to be aggressively in foreclosing on homes for violations ranging from unmowed lawns to unsafe structures. Now, the foreclosures have brought in millions of dollars for cities that have taken away homes that have been in families for generations, particularly in heavily black and lower income neighborhoods. And the lawyer who was aggressively pursuing this practice is trying to take cities in South Florida next. And in late 2021, the city signed a contract with an outside attorney named Matt Wiedner to file lawsuits against the owners of these properties. Now, Wiedner is trying to get several South Florida cities to join into this thing, calling homes subject to foreclosure because of aggressive enforcement of code violations. And get this, guys, a potential gold mine of untapped revenue is how this is being viewed. This guy Wiedner, I wonder how he sleeps at night, to be honest with you guys. I mean, he first attracted national attention for his work helping homeowners to keep their properties in the wake of the Great Recession. But now he's helping the cities take people's homes away. And so Wiedner has pretty much crisscrossed the state, speaking at and sponsoring conferences, targeting local officials, and has made direct pitches to cities all over the state. Cities don't have to pay anything up front. Instead, they give him a cut of whatever he can recover. And just to show you guys the damage that he's caused, they did an investigation and they found out that Wiedner has turbocharged the number of foreclosure lawsuits that were filed by many of the cities that have inked deals with him. Now, one city, Fort Pierce, had filed one such lawsuit in the 5 years before hiring Wiedner in late 2021. And so last year, the city filed 57. Can you believe this guy? And if you're ever facing something like this, know that there is help, guys. Make sure you guys check out the local homeowners assistance fund in your area. Now, I found an example in Maine, and they help homeowners pay up to $50,000 for their delayed mortgage. So Maine Housing just relaunched their homeowner assistance fund, which uses federal C-19 pandemic relief money to be able to help those who fell behind on their payments during the pandemic. It's designed to assist low and moderate income families who have faced financial hardships since January of 2021. And yeah, homeowners can receive up to $50,000 depending upon your eligibility. So make sure you guys check out the MaineHomeownerHelp.org website. And I like what Maine Housing Executive Director Dan Brennan had to say here. Quote, "There could be a level of despair that kicks in and says, I'm so far behind, I'm never going to get this fixed. Well, this program is designed to help people solve that. We fix their problem and move forward," end quote. So let's really hope that this does. I did some searching on Reddit and found some people who actually got some help, pretty big help actually, from the program. So here's what some of it had to say. And it can be a pain to apply because you need to pull up statements from utility bills and mortgages, but it is worth it. When applying, please make sure to select that you want forward payments. Apparently, I didn't select that, and I was so thankful because a caseworker pointed that out. I had to update my application to state that I wanted forward payments. Now, here's another one that I saw on Reddit. It said, "I finally got approved for 18 months of utilities and mortgage. I applied all the way back in the beginning of April. I've been telling all my friends and coworkers about it." So drop a comment if you guys want me to talk more about this. Aside from me dropping a future video, some of our YouTube fam could also help us out. Now, another option that you could get is from a real estate company. Now, some offer options to protect the homeowner's credit by either selling the home through a short sale or modifying the mortgage, which involves extending the mortgage and spreading out the cost of the missed payments over a longer term. Now, the article mentioned a homeowner who was able to take advantage of this process. And they said, quote, "It literally put me in a tailspin. I have never been so terrified in my life. I mean, can you imagine being homeless with 2 small kids? It's just about the worst feeling ever," end quote. But she was able to get help through the real estate company. She even thought it was a scam at first. Now, with the Homeowner Assistance Fund, eligible homeowners can use that money for past due mortgage or tax payments, overdue utility bills, including sewer, water, electricity, and heating fuels. The program can also pay overdue homeowner association dues, HOA fees, or the lot rent for a mobile home that is occupied or owned by the occupants. For some eligible homeowners, the program will also pay up to 3 months of future mortgage payments to ensure housing stability. Thousands of Americans are finding themselves in the same boat. So if you find yourself to be one of them, please do not hesitate to reach out for it. And for more information about the Homeowner Assistance Fund, even if you're not in Maine, just type in Homeowner Assistance Fund space your city and your state name and see what comes up in Google for you. Just look up the name of your state plus the words Homeowner Assistance Fund, and you should be able to find it no problem. So anyway, I just want to thank you guys so very much for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video and learned something new from today's financial update. Banks going down and storms raging throughout the country, and not to mention foreclosures getting supercharged by greedy lawyers. Now, I hope you guys check out that housing assistance program also. And remember, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. I love seeing you guys every single time. And remember, 10 minutes could protect your family for as little as $10 a month. And if you're interested in learning more about Ethos, or you're interested in getting your free life insurance quote, make sure to see the link in the description down below. Remember, guys, it's a free quote. There's no risk. You can get your own personalized free quote today by clicking the link in the description down below. Protect your family. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.